The third question that I get is, I'm terrible at science. Do I need to be good at science to make it through OT school? Now, as I mentioned a little bit in the admission requirements, you have to take courses such as Anatomy 1 and 2, or maybe biology. I know I took chemistry, kinesiology, I took neuro. I wouldn't necessarily say that I was good at science. I don't really know anyone who's just good at something. I think you have to really like apply yourself. If your program has tutors, if you know, read ahead, like read the chapter ahead. If you really, really feel like you struggle with science, I would say you should record the lectures and listen to them constantly. Write down the notes over and over again and then study. And I would say that you probably should be looking at your notes every single day. And then when it's time for a test, you should be prepared. So I don't feel like you have to be good per se. I think you just have to be really, really on top of it. I think you have to know what your strengths and weaknesses are and just be prepared. Okay, so another question that I have is, I applied to OT school and I didn't get in. Now, I actually have a blog post on my blog about that particular subject. And I would say if you applied to OT school and you didn't get in, I'm going to ask first, how many schools did you actually apply to? Did you apply to just one school, or did you apply to a lot of schools? Were you waitlisted, or were you actually rejected from the program? So if you applied to just one school, I would say you should apply to more schools. Apply to at least 5 schools maybe. If you were waitlisted, then that's actually a good thing, because it is possible to get off the wait list. So I would maybe call up the admissions department, actually speak to them, you know, ask for tips or advice on what you can do to actually get off the wait list. And if you were rejected from the school or completely denied admission, then I would look into applying again for the next year. But before I apply, I would see what I can do to strengthen my application. That way I would have a better chance next time. I know some people, if they don't get into like the master's in OT school, they will apply to like a CODA program. So if you want to practice occupational therapy, but you're not necessarily looking to get a master's, or you're okay with not getting a master's, then you can also apply to like a CODA program. Okay, I think we're on question number 5, and the question is, I only want to work with kids. I only want to do pediatrics. Do I have to specialize specifically in pediatric OT? The answer to that, I would say, is no. When you're in the program, you're gonna have different field works. You're gonna have a field work in pediatrics, you're gonna have a field work in adolescents, a field work in adults, and a field work in geriatrics. And then when you actually graduate and then you get your first job, then you can choose what area you want to practice in. Now, all OTs have to do continuing education. So if you want to do your continuing education credits and specifically in pediatrics, then that's what you can do. Question number 6, did your first job give your mentorship, or did they just throw you into the job? And the answer is, I did get mentorship. I actually specifically applied to a mentorship program. I don't think all jobs do that. I do think I know for a fact some jobs actually just throw you in there, which I do feel like is really unfair, but that's a whole other topic to discuss on a whole other day. But as far as mentorship, I think it depends on what you consider mentorship, because what I thought mentorship wasn't necessarily what I got in my mentorship program. But it was good to have somebody like right beside me in the beginning when I started, and then eventually I was on my own. So if you are looking for really close mentorship, like look for jobs that once you graduate, like new grad programs, mentorship programs, look for things like that. Ask them what their mentorship program consists of, and if it's something that you think fits you, then you know, go forward with it. So that's all the questions that I have for now. If you have any questions you want to ask me directly, you could email me or you could comment on my Instagram page or on my blog. Whichever, I'll put all the information in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.